It's Thursday, and that means it is my favorite day of the week. It is Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursday. Today, we're going to be talking about Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Some new looks and some action figures have been released of the series, as well as a look at the beginnings of the Shredder and how he came to be and why he was decided to be the Shredder and things like that. And then we'll finish it off with Ninja Turtles Volume 3 is finally being completed after 20 years of being incomplete. IDW is finally getting around to finishing that off. And on top of everything, I've got a very special guest today. His name is Andrew Fantasia. Let's start the show. Hey, once again, everyone, I am James Razile. Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursday officially begins now. Joining me today is a very special guest, moderately special guest. You'll know him from the Rebel Scum podcast that I do over on another YouTube channel and his own personal YouTube channel simply titled Andrew Fantasia. Here's Andrew Fantasia.
Hey, that's that guy that I am. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on your show. You have opened up a can of worms because Turtles is something I could talk about for hours on end.
Yeah, true story. So. He said, I need to come on the Turtle Show. And so here he is right now on Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursday. Great day to be on to. Great day because Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is debuting in September. And information is slowly starting to leak. Player.one.com or something like that website. I've never been on it before. But it's player.one, .com. They have released pictures of toys, of action figures for Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll get into the Turtles in just a little tiny bit. But we got to talk about the brand new villains, Andrew. The new villains that are going to be gracing our TV screens. The one interesting thing, though, that the intriguing factor that I see here is there's no Baron Draxum, who is the main villain of this new show, voiced by John Cena. We haven't seen anything of him quite yet. How do you feel about that? Are you surprised? Are you hoping to see something soon, or do you not care? Are you happy with what we got?
I'm hoping, like Draxum would be cool to see, but really, I mean, we all want to see old school villains, right? I mean, that's why we go into Turtle stuff. So I would rather see Draxum now, because the longer they play him out means the longer it's going to take for us until we see like Shredder or Krang. So
yeah, and I speculated on my first show. I'm like, all roads lead to Shredder when it comes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and already word is leaking that we won't have to wait too long for Shredder to make an appearance. But let's get right into the first villain. It's not quite a foot soldier, but it is a foot soldier. It is the Origami Ninja. This guy is like, he's got a foot stamp on his face. That is, he's got like a ghost hood type thing going on. He's so this is the description, says that he's still a foot soldier. So the foot soldiers are obviously still a thing, and he's ready to battle. The ninja basically doesn't tell you anything, but he looks like folded origami. What do you make of this origami? He has an origami ninja stars, I think. What do you make of this guy?
I love this guy. There's the foot soldiers were, they were the standard dime a dozen troops. They're like Imperial stormtroopers, but the difference is with stormtroopers, you get all flavor and variety of them, but with foot soldiers, it was very limiting. It was just foot soldiers and that's it. So I like this idea of an origami foot soldier, or of a tech foot soldier, or this and that. I like that it feels like they're stepping up their game. They're enriching their world. So I'm down with that. I like the origami.
Yeah, me too. I'm kind of cool with this. And look, I said this a couple weeks ago. This show is not for us necessarily. This definitely looks like it's more geared towards the kids. We're going to get into that just in a little tiny bit. We got to talk about Ninja Leader, though. This guy, I'm not quite sure what to make of Ninja Leader. He's an upper level henchman, because now is he a henchman for Draxum or Shredder? We don't know. He looks okay though. I mean, he doesn't. This one, I have to say, I prefer the other one to this one. This one's kind of a little bit of a letdown. It looks the coloring almost seems like they just didn't bother painting his upper torso.
Yeah, I don't know, the whole thing with Draxum and these ninjas. Have they confirmed yet that they connect? Like, is Draxum in charge of the Foot Clan?
I don't know anything yet.
Okay, so yeah, this could go. Draxum could be a whole other deal. Then he could be like an alien or something, and maybe the Foot is just another thing running around New York.
Well, we'll skip the next guy because the next guy's the one I'm most excited for. But in this playset that Playmates is discussing, there is a top secret character that they have not released. So my money is on Baron Draxum right there. Baron Draxum is, if anyone doesn't know, he is someone who is obsessed with ooze and mutation. He's obsessed with mutating, and he wants to mutate the entire planet. So who knows what he looks like. I'm really hoping that they went, you know, like the classic 80s cartoon where they're just like, what's the craziest thing we can come up with? And that's Baron Draxum. You know, that's kind of what I'm hoping. But let's go on to who I would describe as my new favorite Ninja Turtle character of all time, Meat Sweats. Who thought of Meat Sweats? They deserve an applause. I guess he's this new version of, you know, Bebop, Rocksteady, Toka Razor, like the new mutant thing. He looks like he was a chef at one point, but he has a meat cleaver to smash the turtles and maybe do some deep fried turtles. What are your initial thoughts of Meat Sweats?
I like him. He's just the look of him, the name, everything. Like you said, they always have those, you know, the Bebop and Rocksteady placeholders. Like if it's not them, you get like Dog Pound and Fish Face from the last cartoon, and now it looks like this guy with I don't know who's going to be paired up with him, but I like the design. I really like the design. I can't wait to see him fight a turtle because I think that's going to look fun. I just hope, and again, this is just me being selfish and biased, which I am 100% of the time, but I just hope that the fact that he's a pig doesn't mean that we're never getting Bebop, because that would make me sad.
Yeah, I guess he is a pig. His arm is mangled, and it looks like his one hand comes off and you can reattach it somehow. Also, that's what
neat.
That's what it looks like. I could be wrong. Or it's just coming out of the ground like Night of the Living Dead. I can't really tell.
I hope the toy is constantly moist.
That would be so great. I don't know, you might be too young, but He-Man used to have a line of figures where you would hit them and they would get battle damage, and then you roll up and they'd be clean. But one of them was the skunk. I can't remember his name. He might have just been the skunk. And when you hit him,
Stinkor.
Yeah, when you hit him, he let off a smell, and he stunk. And that would be cool to see. I don't think toys are that intricate anymore, but that'd be something else. Let's go on to the Ninja Turtles themselves, because the one thing that these toys did reveal is that Leonardo is no longer he no longer leads. He is not the leader of the Heroes in a Half Shell. Instead, they have decided to turn things over to Raphael, which my feelings on this are they're very simple. It does not bother me so much, except for the fact that other than lead, what does Leonardo do? That's what I mean, his theme song is Leonardo leads, and if he's not leading, what's his role in this? Because Leonardo is the mature one of the group. You know, Donatello's the smart one, Raphael's hot-headed, and Michelangelo's Michelangelo. But Leonardo is the level-headed one who needs to make the decision, who always kind of makes the right decision and understands what it takes to make the decisions. And now you put Raphael in that spot, and it looks like they're still going to keep him cool but rude in this. But at the same time, like, how does that translate into being a leader?
Yeah, this whole thing is the biggest sort of, you know, this was the biggest shock to me when I heard about this show. And I'm on the fence about it. For one thing, what's cool about it is for the first time in 35 years, the Partners in Crime rap song Turtle Power is actually correct, because they claim Raphael is the leader in that. I like the shakeup. I think it's interesting to see exactly what you said. Like, what's Leonardo going to be like when he's not leading the Turtles? Especially if in this universe he was once the leader and now it's switched. That'd be cool. That would be cool if he's like, you know, if maybe it's a thing Splinter's doing where it's like, I need to teach you all how to be good leaders. Leo, you've been a leader for X amount of years. Now it's Raph's turn. He's next. I could be on board for that. I actually really like the sound of that. But on the other hand, I always, and again, this is just coming from my big old bias, I am, you know, desperately in love with the 80s cartoon. And even though Leo was the leader in the 80s cartoon, in that cartoon, it was much more of an even playing ground, I felt, with all four Turtles, whereas lately, they just keep pushing Raphael to the front of everything, every movie, every comic, every show. Now it's always like, ooh, Raphael plus the other three. And I don't like when they do that. I like when it's, you know, the Fab Four, just have them standing in a row, just being equals. And I don't like one taking precedent over the other. And I felt like when Leo was leader, that never happened with him. He was still just one of the four. But I don't know, I guess because Raph is cool, they want to bank on him. It's like Deadpool syndrome, but I don't want that to happen.
I think when you look at Raphael, of all the characters, he's the easiest one to exploit. And he's the easiest one to wrap a story around because of his character traits. And it's like, and I hate to say it, but it's the lazy way out when you do it, right? You're like, well, what's the easy route? Oh, Raphael. Throw Raphael in this. And that's what it is. I thought Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shadows did a pretty good job of teaming them all together. Raphael, he wanted to become human with spoiler alert, with Michelangelo. They kind of had their own thing. I thought all the Turtles were cool on that. But you're right. They keep wanting, if you look at TMNT all the way back when that came out, 10 years ago, whatever it was, they push Raphael. They want Raphael to be this thing. And now, I think finally they snapped and they said, he is now the leader of the group. Like you just said in the Turtle Power song. They've been claiming that for years now. And you're absolutely right on this. Let's look at the design of these turtles. We got a little snippet, but earlier, yesterday, I think it was, or 2 days ago, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Facebook page, put out individual poster art for each of the characters. So let's start off with the new leader of the group, Raphael. All right, so looking at Raphael, you've got new mask, same color, they're saying. Twin Tonfa, so he's not using size anymore. He's got his twin Tonfa T emblem on the belt. Even his two toes have muscles. Nice little thing. And his species is a snapping turtle. So for people that don't know about the snapping turtle, here in Ontario, Canada, we are littered with them in our lakes, and they terrify me because they can bite off your pinky. It's a large freshwater, this is according to Wikipedia, it's a large freshwater turtle of the family Chelydridae. Its natural range extends from southeastern Canada, southwest to the edge of the Rocky Mountains, as far as Nova Scotia and Florida. The species and the larger alligator snapping turtles are the only macrochials species in this family found in North America. So he's rare in North America, Raphael. What do you think of this new Raphael and his lack of sigh?
You recited that all from memory. Don't you dare lie to me, James. That was pure memory. I actually really like the new looks. I was shocked when I found out this was going to be hand-drawn animation, which I like. So that was cool. Raph's what are those new weapons called? Tonfas?
Twin Tonfa,
Tonfa
yeah,
sticks?
Twin Tonfa.
Tonfa sticks. I like size better. They're just cooler looking, but I'm not gonna complain. Like I mean, the Turtles have been subtly changing weapons since the dawn of time. I mean, even in the 80s cartoon, there was a point where Michelangelo, he stopped using nunchucks, remember? And he started using that grappling hook with the shell. Like, they like to play around with the weapons a lot. The Tonfas are kind of just boring from my point of view, but I'm not like, this is not like, no, not my Raphael. I'll deal. He looks cool. I'll soon move past the lack of sign.
I like his new mask. I think the thing with the twin Tonfas for me is it gives them an opportunity to animate him using his weapon, I would suggest. I mean, he can't stab anybody, so I think this gives them more of an opportunity to play around with it. Now let's look at the old leader of the Ninja Turtles. This guy's been pushed to the side. His name is Leonardo. He is a red-eared slider turtle. And if you don't know what a red-eared slider is, it's also known as a red-eared terrapin. It's a semi-aquatic turtle belonging to the family of Emididae. Who comes up with these things? It is a subspecies of the pond slider, because this is helping me. Anyway, the eared slider is included in the list of the world's 100 most invasive species. Let's look at what he's got. He's got an Odachi, which is the same type. It's a different version of his sword. He makes blue look good, which is... I want to meet the people that come up with like meat sweats and he makes blue look good.
I know.
Battle pose is on point. Fantastic. And again, on the belt, he's got a T emblem. I also like the red scar things he's got going on in his face, or paint, or whatever it is. I don't know what that is.
That's from his species, I think. I think all those
Oh, you're
Turtles
right.
have
I'm looking
that
at it right now. I
beard.
should have just noticed that. I like that. You know, I gotta say, I like people will probably complain that they're not brothers by blood, but I think this is cool. I like that they decided to make them all individual species. I think that's kind of a neat little thing, because then you get these marks on his face, like you just said, that the red-eared sliders have.
Yeah, that picture of Leonardo, which you can find, like you said, on their Facebook page there, it looks beautiful. The Odachi sword is it's just another sword. That's fine. It's probably the least changed of all the weapons here, and like I said, he is fascinating me right now, because what is this Leo all about, baby? What does he do? Is he relieved that he's not leader anymore? I really hope that he was leader in this canon.
That'd be awesome. And then
he's
Splinter
not.
was like, "You're." By the way, Splinter is my favorite looking of all of these new characters. We're not going to be talking much about
He
him
looks
today.
like Uncle Iroh from Avatar.
I absolutely love it. Let's move on to my personal favorite Ninja Turtle. He's got, he does machines. His name is Donatello. He's got a big brain. Again, I want to meet these people. Infrared night vision goggles, pretty cool. Wearable battle shell. Again, that's pretty sweet right there. I want to see that in action. His bow is a tech bow. So it's the same type of thing that he had before, but it's tech, he seems the most like of the Bay Turtles, the Michael Bay produced Ninja Turtles. It looks like he's pretty much on par with what we saw there. And he has a soft shell turtle, which is also known the Tryon Chide. People didn't know that they were going to get a nature lesson on this, but they are. They have spiny shaft cells, does have some scale-like projections, hence its name. The carapace is a leathery and pliable, particularly at the sides, the central part of the carapace. Is it carapace or carpacci? I'm saying carapace. Has a layer of solid bone beneath it, as in other turtles, but this is absent at the outer edges. Again, I just love that they went with all different turtles for this.
Yeah, that was really smart. And it kind of makes me wonder if now, because they're all different turtles, if there's going to be like the Baron, since he's obsessed with mutations, if he's going to mutate a tortoise, which is bigger than a turtle, and then they're going to have to fight a ninja tortoise as a villain.
That would be.
I'm going to call that right now.
That could be why they're hiding him. Also, the soft shell turtle is among the largest in North America. Just so you know. Now we're moving on to everyone's favorite little brother, Michelangelo. The first action figure I ever got was Michelangelo. He's back to his Kusari Fundo weapon, which is like you just said earlier. It's his little whipping thing. So he's back to that, essentially. T emblem once again, but this one's on his chest. His defense mode pulls entire body into shell. Good old Michelangelo. Custom tagged knee pads. I love that. There's a smiley face and like a 2X over the eyes and a squiggly line there. I think that is fantastic. And he is a box turtle. And they're North American. Box turtles are just North American. They're superficially similar to tortoise in terrestrial habitats and overall appearance. They are actually members of the American pond turtle family. So that is our new Michelangelo. Thoughts, Andrew?
I love the graffiti on the knee pads, and it's like, because of who the turtles are and just their personalities, I wonder why that hasn't been done sooner, especially with their shells. Like, why has Mikey never been like, dudes, I'm gonna spray paint some cool stuff on our shells? Like, that just seems like it's so natural. So I love that a lot. I think that looks great.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fantastic. This show, when the look of it was first announced, I was a little bit taken back, a little bit like, I compared it to Teen Titans Go animation, and it could very well be up that. And I also mentioned that my 10-year-old niece is obsessed with Teen Titans Go, and if she is the demographic for this show, then that's the way they have to go for it. Like, if that's what kids are watching, that's what they should be bringing up. But the little touches, the sass in the descriptions, it's kind of, and John Cena doing the voice of the character that you're speculating will be a giant, massive tortoise, perhaps. Or snapping, giant tortoise snapping tortoise.
Ooh.
His name, but like it's slowly like bringing me on board with this. Like, okay, you guys seem to have a plan here. Now, what I'm curious about with Raphael and Splinter and April O'Neil and the whole gang now is if this sticks, if this show sticks. Because the thing with Ninja Turtles and their cartoons is little pieces stick. There's always something that sticks. Like the Shredder in the Michael Bay movies was at one point going to be Krang or something along those lines. So that was going to be taken from the one show, and April O'Neil's a news reporter, and something always happens to stick in Ninja Turtles. And the last few, I don't think anything has really stuck from the last few animated series. Now, this one has big changes. They're not massive changes. That Raphael's the leader, that's kind of big. But if that sticks, do you think in a future movie we could see Raphael be the leader of the Turtles?
Oh, sure. I mean, like you said, if 5 years from now, there's a generation of little kids who spent like 5 straight seasons watching this show, then yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the odds of us getting a Ninja Turtle movie like less than 5 years from now are kind of low, unfortunately, as much as you and I both loved Out of the Shadows, where I don't think part 3 is happening. Yeah. So I would almost say it's a sure bet that once that next movie comes out, it's gonna, pull a lot from this. It's gonna be about Raph as the leader and about these new weapons being featured in live action with tech bows and whatever. I still don't understand what a tech bow is, but I'm sure I'll find
I think it just expands. It probably reads like it's like a Ghostbuster thing, like that.
I picture like Zeb's weapon from Rebels, from Star Wars Rebel, like with electricity on it.
You're probably on the right path there. I would be down for a movie where it starts with Leonardo as the leader, and then something happens along the way, and Splinter says, "You're done. You got to move to the side. Your brother needs to take charge. He's proven himself, yada, yada, yada." And then you got to deal with that dynamic now, because there's been pieces of that dynamic played with in the past, but never fully. And if that's what this animated series is about, more power to it. That's awesome. I just don't know how Meat Sweats fits into that. I want to know what was like. I'm going to go on out a limb and say that Baron Draxum is the guy that mutated Meat Sweats. What was his thought process in that? Like, what was Baron Draxum like? We need someone who's just ham with a bacon arm. Like that's where my thought is right now. Like he's like, was Baron Jackson like hungry and he had nothing for breakfast one day, and he goes, "Yo, Meaty," because that's his henchman's name. I'm assuming his henchman's name is Meaty. Come on, and he zaps him with some ooze gun or something. That's what I'm hoping. But let's keep going with villains here, and we're going to take a look at the early days of everyone's favorite can opener, the Shredder. Every great hero needs a great villain. The Ninja Turtles have one of the greatest in the Shredder. Also known as Oroku Saki, Saki blamed Hamada Yoshi, Splinter's owner, for the death of his brother Oroku Nagi. This would set in motion the major conflict within the Shredder and, of course, our heroes in a half shell. The design of the Shredder came exactly how you'd imagine. A cheese grater. Eastman saw potential in the metal kitchen tool, which could be lethally used in the hands of the wrong individual. In fact, the early names for the Shredder were the Grater and the Great Man. The Shredder has been a large part of every version of the Ninja Turtles so far, appearing in all but 2 of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle films. Peter Laird says this of the Shredder. In truth, though many TMNT fans who become fans via the first animated series see Shredder as a really important part of an ongoing, long-running battle with the Turtles, I don't think Kevin or I ever did. Yes, he was an important part of the history, and they probably would not have come into existence without his involvement in their world, or more accurately, Splinter's world, but that's about it. Other than bringing Shredder back for Return to New York, and the few issues preceding that set that arc up, I never missed him in any of the other TMNT books I worked on. As a fan from the days Laird speaks of, I can admit that Shredder has always been a huge part of the Turtles for me, and I couldn't really see them without him. However, I'm totally down to see whatever they have. I would accept it if he was not a part of the Turtles going forward. But that doesn't seem to be the case, at least not with Rise of the TMNT coming up. making its way back into comics. They're finally going to complete Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Volume 3. It's finally going to be done after 20 years of being incomplete. The comic from Gary Carlson and artist Frank Fosco will finally be finishing its run. We got to mention that it is not canon, whatever that means in Ninja Turtle land anymore. Actually, what that does mean is the first two series were done by Eastman and Laird, I believe. And then what happened was they hired, these guys came on and did this one, and they didn't consider it canon for reasons that we will talk about in 1 second. First of all, Donatello is a cyborg. So if you thought this new show was going off the rails, Donatello's a cyborg. Raphael at one point becomes the Shredder. Leonardo doesn't have a hand, and Michelangelo is Michelangelo. You just can't mess with Mikey on this one. And you're gonna be picking up the conclusion to Volume 3 of Ninja Turtles?
I don't know. I've read about that series. Like, I've read how dark it is. Like, I think Leo's hand gets bitten off by a Leatherhead. So it's really just, it's like the Dark Knight Returns of the Turtles. I actually brought some books with me. Like, this is, I don't have a lot of Turtles comics. Like, this is the extent. I have, like, this is the old school one that they put in color in this nice thing that looks like a pizza box. And then there's this one, which was the first trade. You have this one too? Yeah, this was the newer series that came out, I think, like 5 years ago. And I really liked it, but I kind of want to get like a this version of this, because I feel like there's a lot more lore in here, and Eastman came back for that. Yeah. So that's the extent of my knowledge when it comes to the comics. I might pick this one up if it's a nice collection and if it's got like that whole shebang in there, which I think it does. I think that they're reprinting all the previous issues that have been released. So I wouldn't mind. I would dig seeing some Dark Turtles, but my foot is planted firmly in the light in terms of like the old school ways. But I mean, the original was dark as hell too. I mean, look at that. That's some scary S-H-I apostrophe. So I could get behind any Turtles comic as long as it's entertaining. So maybe I'll wait and see what people say.
I'm definitely going to check it out. I want to see what they do. It would be weird if they didn't release all the other issues and they just were like, here's the ending. It'd be really weird. So I'm going to check.
Hope you kept every issue.
Hope you didn't throw them out. I'm going to definitely check it out, do a review of it on this show. But that's our episode. That is the 4th. This is March 1st. It's been 4 weeks of doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Thursdays. Thanks so much, everybody, for stopping by. Andrew, thanks for being my guest here. Tell everybody about your YouTube channel.
Oh, anytime. Yeah, my YouTube channel is just under my name, Andrew Fantasia, where I review new films that are out in the cinemas right now, because there's a severe lack on YouTube of people reviewing movies, and I wanted to kind of, fill that void. So if you want to know about what's hot and what's not and what's out right now in terms of the world of cinema, come on by my channel. You can also see me on James's other channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, where we talk about Star Wars, because we're kind of indifferent towards that whole series.
I hate Star Wars. Yeah, right. Well, anyway, thanks so much, guys. Please give us a like and a subscribe to right here on Digital Charcuterie. I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, Andrew will be back on this channel later tonight. We're doing our Academy Awards preview show. Tomorrow I got Flying Casual. That's our other show. I got Casual Friday tomorrow. And then after that, you will get my top 10 movies of 2017. They are not what you think. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and cowabunga.